Yeah, I figured I would get up here again one more time. While I got some time left before I gotta run, and I would address somebody one last time, and then I'm going to do what I've done with everybody else in the past. I'm gonna do as I've told Steve Hoka to do. I'm going to ignore, ignore, and ignore. Okay? That's what I'm going to do. Okay? And that would be the guy over there that hides his name. The only guy that I've seen in the entire time I've been doing this that showed up about 2.5, 3 years ago online up on YouTube, making videos on New World Order topics. That's right, NWO and TFL, dating scene topics, which is the same thing I've been doing for years, okay? And this guy shows up out of nowhere. Nobody knows who he is because he don't use his real name. You know, that's the one thing I'll give credit for Steve Hoka, myself, and people like Jerry, and even people like Robert, okay? And people like Kevin, people like Peter Nolan, people who come up here and ain't fraudulent and is not afraid to say who they are, okay? All kudos go out to you people because you people who come up here and are not afraid to say who you are, you understand what I understand, that if you're going to do something wrong in society and you're going to come up online and you're going to do wrong and you're actually breaking man-made rules or laws or violating other people's rights, your IP is there and you will be caught. They will take your IP and they will be at your door. Okay, so you're not going to come up online and do any of this stuff and think that you're smarter than the system because they will catch you. Your IP is recorded and they will be at your house. They will come to your door and they will not hesitate. You know, even Jerry comes up here and says who he really is. And I've been through some experiences that proves, without a shadow of a doubt, how real NWO is and what happens when you start touching real truth. Jerry's been through some experiences himself, okay? When you start touching real truth and you get under the wrong people's skin, when touching real truth, you will have a visit. Matter of fact, I think even Truth is Sweet had the feds at his house. Or he meant the feds, whichever, but he did have contact with the feds. They contacted him. I had feds at my house, the loss of a job, military, yeah, a green light through my window, and the loss of a job out of nowhere, a digital program called Skype scrambled with analog, and there's only one entity that we know of that you can find when you research it that has the capability of doing that, and that is the military-industrial complex. Okay? I've experienced things, and I don't care what other people say. I just don't care. They don't know they wasn't here, and they can be in denial till they're blue in the face, and I just don't care. Okay? Because I know what took place in my life. Okay? My son knows he was here. He witnessed it with his own eyes. Okay? And Jerry, he told you the truth, what happened to him in Kalamazoo. He didn't lie to you. He told you the truth. You know, and it comes from speaking out. It comes from being honest. It comes from being right there, telling the truth. You know, and there's a certain person that showed up by the name of Stan Insane Amongst Insanity. Oh, 2.5, 3 years ago, what have you, up on YouTube speaking New World Order topics. He sure did. And he knew an awful lot about the New World Order, so I was actually impressed because he was quite awake. Okay? And then he spoke TFL topics. He sure did. Okay? And amongst his speaking for 2.5, 3 years now, here about a month, maybe a little over a month ago, what have you, he took down all of his videos. He says he put them on private mode. It doesn't matter. He took them out of the public's eye. Okay? And all of your videos for that time that you was doing this was, not all, but the majority was NWO and TFL related. Okay, now, after he took down his videos or put them on private mode, whichever he done, took them out of the public's eyes, he comes back up here preaching the mainstream narrative. And he's been pushing the mainstream propaganda ever since. And then he threw up that Huffington Post article with Steve Hoke in it. Okay? He talked about it before throwing it up. Then last night he actually threw it up. And he read it. And he had his commentary in between time. And he read it. And he did his commentary. And when you listen to what he said, he's repeating things that's happened throughout history. And he's pointing his finger at incels and TFLers, basically men's rights movement, people that are affected by the social engineering of society, and he's sending them back down the rabbit hole. Well, basically what he's telling his men is what mainstream media has been telling them all along, what everybody's preached to these guys, and true TFLers that went out of their way and listened to everything their society told them and did everything the society told them and was rejected still over and over again. Okay? And it kept going on and kept going on, We'll take Warren, for example. Warren's very awake. Okay? Warren's TFL. Warren's biggest problem is he has no control over his size. The man's 4 foot, like 4'8", 4'9". He's a short guy. He's skinny. And he has autism. So the combination really goes against him when he's out there in the dating scene trying to meet somebody. And I've tried to tell people before, you've got to take your mind off of it. But of course, staying insane now, see, he's attacking the TFL movement. He is attacking them hardcore. And when you look at the article from Huffington Post or anybody that's awake, they understand the incident that happened to Canada with the van ramming into the crowd at the mall was another false flag, phony, baloney, a complete lie, never took place. They understand that Elliot Rogers was another psyop just like that one, never took place. That's what the Huffington Post is pushing, the propaganda. The only incident that I can think of outside of what Steve said yesterday, which is possibly real, was the George Sedini incident. That was as real as it gets. That wasn't a psyop. Okay? But the media did take his words and his blogs and flip them to their narrative. Okay? And my problem is this. I can understand that why men would be angry. Young men coming up that run into this and live this, I can understand why they'd be angry. I can understand why they would blame themselves. I can understand all the feelings they're going to go through and how it tears them up. This is the reason I tell them to take women off their mind. They don't have to give up, but they got to get them off their mind. But see, staying insane is disregarding anything and everything I've ever said. And he's pushing that I'm talking about conspiracy theory and that everything in society, that I blame everything in society on New World Order. You mean the very man who done the same thing I done? The very man who spoke out in detail about New World Order and the TFL takes his videos down and comes back and does the exact opposite upside down on its head? This is the reason I said what I said earlier. Okay, this is the reason I said that. Because I find that pretty coincidental, not coincidental, but pretty ironic in how this guy comes out of nowhere. He don't give his real name, no information about himself. And the guy turns around and just completely fell off he's telling me I fell off my rocker completely. Well, I would have to say he fell off his rocker, but I'm not going to go there. I'm more liable to believe the guy's probably military intelligence. I'm more liable to believe that this guy is, psychological warfare. The psychological unit of the military-industrial complex. I'm more liable to believe by what he's doing that he was planted here and that he's actually military. And this is a psyop against people that are speaking out. Or this is a direct attack on people that are speaking up on the dating side, on the men's topics, because you tell me what would be wrong with men that are affected by the social conditioning of our society having a community where they can talk with each other. Okay, what would be so wrong with that? Oh, that's dangerous to society is what I'm hearing from everybody. No. What's going on in society is what's dangerous to society. Have you looked at the destruction of the families? The destruction of the genders? Have you looked at how people are treating each other? Have you looked at the domestic violence rate that's going on in our world? Have you looked at anything that's really going on seriously? You think it's all an accident? You think it's just all people are just naturally this way? Bullshit. Okay? That's what I got to say about that. That's complete bull. No, what's going on in today's society? This is why I tell people travel back to the Leave It to Beaver days. They say, well, no, we're progressing, we're moving forward, we're not going back in time. How about studying your history and going back in time and looking how people treated each other and how things went back then and compared to the day? Then how about moving forward and watch as it progresses and you'll see it literally coming from social engineering. I'm in the middle of a live stream here, huh? Hey, I'm in the middle of a live stream, Mr. Olga.
Okay, I'll listen to it, okay? We'll talk a little bit later, okay?
Okay, give me a call back later. That's what I'm doing now, okay?
Yep.
Okay, so anyhow, with that being said, I figure this way. I am awake to what's going on around me. I do know what took place back in Iowa. I mean, I can tell you another sea story I found pretty interesting. See, I kept my son away from everything I'd done when he was a child. My son was never in a room with me when I made a video. Never. I kept him away from what I was doing when I was a child, so he was unaware of it. And then, back in Iowa, my son had wanted a Facebook account, and I did not believe in social media. I stayed off of social media. I told him no. When I was working, my nephew set my son up a Facebook account. Now, I could have been the badass father and told him no and made him close it down. I wouldn't close it down on him, but I didn't. I decided, okay, you got it. I'll just monitor it, okay? But I didn't monitor it too much, but he was always right there, so. And the one day we're sitting there, and I'm on my desktop. My son's using my laptop, and he says, Dad, and I says, what? He said, who's Cassie Dill? Well, he had no way of knowing who Cassie Dill was. There was no way he could have known who Cassie Dill was because he was kept away from what I did. Cassie Dill was a female who talked out on the political end, and she went to all the events. And she spoke up on feminism, she spoke up on NWO, she spoke up on all this stuff, and she got hooked up with, how many of you people remember We Are Change? Or Lou Podolsky? She got hooked up with Lou Podolsky and We Are Change and wound up on Reuters. She was on TV, little short clip. And they were going to hold a thing at the park across from the Capitol selling lemonade. Okay? And the reporter literally asked Lou Podolsky, are you going to be there? And he says, yes, I am. Well, on the day that they set up across from the Capitol, Lou Podolsky was nowhere to be found, and Cassie Dill and crew went to jail for selling lemonade. Okay? Cassie Dill stopped making videos and speaking out after that. Okay? They shut her down. She literally stopped making videos after that. Then she came back and was just doing BS videos. She didn't speak politically again. She didn't do anything. Okay, so they scared her off. Like they did with the green light through my window and scrambling my Skype and taking my job out from underneath me and sending the feds to my door. All of that shit's real. It really happened. All because I do videos online. All because I speak the truth. You know, and what I find really crazy here is the fact that this guy, staying insane amongst the insanity, not only hides who he is, and I can respect if you want to hide who you are, but if you're going to break laws, they're coming to your door and they will know who you are because you're not hiding yourself. You're on the internet. It's not possible to hide yourself. The people to be will have your IP and be at your door. You're not going to come up here and threaten terroristic threats or anything else without being arrested. Okay, so, you know, it's just ludicrous to think anything different. Everything we do is being monitored. So, you know, so you got to know this. You're not going to come up here and be breaking laws. But the thing is this. This guy showed up, like I told you, 2.5, 3 years ago when he was speaking NWO. Then he was speaking TFL, dating scene topics. Then he was back to the Politico. He was in some of my live feeds with Jerry. The guy was quite awake to what was going on. And then he takes down his videos, puts them on private mode, comes back, attacks Steve Hoka, attacks Steve Hoka, attacks Steve Hoka, attacks Steve Hoka, and goes completely back to sleep. And now he's up here and he's off the damn wall, attacking us both. And you know what? I could care less. You know, I'm the conspiracy theorist, okay? So the guys went completely back to sleep. No, he didn't go back to sleep. And you know, he contradicted his own self. Because he posted a video that's up there now, since he's taken him down, saying, once you're awake, you're always awake. You can never go back to sleep. Okay? But now if you are with military, and this is a psychological operation, then what he's doing would actually make sense. As hard as I think about it, I can't make sense out of somebody just overnight like that, completely flipping the script and running with mainstream media, knowing all the lies that they tell. And when you were so awake and you already knew all this to begin with, even if he has a wife and a kid now that he didn't have before, it doesn't matter. Why would anybody in their right mind do that? They wouldn't. Okay, and to believe that he's, well, just went back to sleep, now I don't really buy that neither. No. So unless somebody did an MK Ultra mind control on him and pulled him in, and he's one of the MK Ultra people, you know, totally out of his mind and controlled that way, I would have to wonder about what's going on, because that article from Huffington Post may be 6 months old, and I was unaware of it. I think, you know, a lot of his was, but it doesn't matter. This guy pulled that up, the stuff he said, and if you pay attention to what he said in the video he posted last night when he labeled the groups. See, since I've been doing this, there's certain people that's always said the TFLers was dangerous to society. Incel people are dangerous to society. And you better bet the bottom line, MGTOW men would be dangerous to society too. But I want to know how we're dangerous. What danger are we threatening by we have a community where people can talk to each other that are like-minded, that's lived this themselves, that are going through this? And if it was such not true, explain why it's going on all over the world. If it's not NWO related, can you please explain why I know people in Germany, while there's people in Italy, or whether there's people in Ireland, why there's people in United Kingdom, why there's people in Ukraine, all saying the exact same thing. Can you please explain how it became global? Of course, I know how. So does he. You know, and that's why I said we got to be careful about what they're going to push and pass, and we have to. People, I can understand the anger that these men feel, but they have to control their anger. But what is wrong with having a community or putting together something for that I feel should be in every community across this country? Should be a spot where people could go and get together for support, a support group. Maybe you go there and you talk to each other about these topics. Maybe you go out and you go bowling. Maybe you go out and you do golf. Maybe you go play pool. Maybe you go catch a couple drinks together. You know, what is wrong with that? A support group, support community for each other. They didn't ask for society to do what they've done. And we're not blaming society for everything because society's not fought for everything. Okay, but what's going on in society, what's led to the people's conditions? Programming. People are just like computers. And anybody that denies a person ain't like a computer is clearly sound asleep at the wheel. So my question to staying insane is simple. Who are you really? We know you won't tell nobody. Are you actually military? That's my question. Because why would you come up here out of nowhere and the only person that's ever done the political and the dating together for all them years was always me. Steve Holka didn't even do the political end and the dating. Okay? He stuck with the dating scene. He barely touched the political end. He stayed on the dating scene. I've done a lot of research. I've always done both ends because our problem in the dating scene in our community around the world, as you see, it's global, okay? The problem comes from the political end. You know, and it is social engineered into society. And this guy, staying insane amongst the sanity, knows that. There's no way he don't know that. He just spent 2.5, 3 years making NWO videos and TF videos and TFL videos and talking about this stuff, and the guy was very awake. So how do you just go right back to sleep? Okay, no, I don't buy that. Because it was like just like that. He took everything down, now he's back doing this. So see, he can call me all the names he wants. I don't care. I've been called everything in the book. I don't care. It doesn't change the truth. You can go back to sleep and show everybody, because I've already had people come up and tell me, this guy's went back to sleep. He's preaching mainstream narrative. He's sending them right back down the rabbit hole. He's telling all the men they just got to better themselves. You got to work on yourself and you got to make yourself better. He's feeding you right back to PUA. He's going to feed you right back to all the stuff that everybody's already been told. You don't think 90% of these men that are TFLers they didn't start off on in Preston because we have communities, they have forums or they have blogs online and they're talking to each other. That's their prerogative. Well, they're just wallowing in their pity because they're talking about their issues. Well, yeah, if you're the victim of something and every other people around you are the victim of the same thing, you're going to talk about your issues, what's affecting you in your life. Yeah, that's normal. That's a human reaction. But to say, oh, you got to get out of it, you got to just blah, blah, blah. No, what you got to get out of is keeping a woman on your life, on your mind 24 hours a day and driving yourself nuts. What you got to be able to do is control your anger and find something to do to remove it from your mind, to be able to make yourself happy to get over their anger. What you got to be able to do is be able to talk to other people that ain't going to ridicule you, cut you down, and lie to you and send bullshit your way. That's what you got to be able to do. But see, he's avoiding all that. You won't hear this guy talk about that. So then, like I said, you have to wonder. So I really have to wonder about this guy. Is this guy legit at all? Was this guy here to like infiltrate from within and use this to try to fire people up and cause controversy? Maybe it's a psychological operation. Maybe, because they're going to try to push another law. You know they are, mental health law. I know they are. You should know they are by what you're seeing going on. Elliot Rogers, what happened in Canada, this article that was posted by Huffington Post, all the precursors are there. So I have to wonder if this guy isn't here from the military and this guy's not doing a psychological operation. Not that he is. I'm not going to say he is because I don't know. I'm just going to tell you I find it pretty strange how in all the years I've been doing what I've been doing, nobody else has ever come up and did exactly what I was doing but this guy right here. Then out of nowhere he pulls it all down and now he's suddenly just like a sheep, sound asleep, preaching the mainstream narrative and saying what I've heard for years, that incel and TFL people are dangerous to society, that we're completely off our rocker. Okay? And I like that this last video we just posted up that, yeah, Billy's a conspiracy theorist. Yeah, this is coming from the very guy that was a conspiracy theorist himself. I find that pretty damn funny. So this is why I say, is this guy who he says he is, or is he actually military? What's going on here? Or was this guy a victim of MK Ultra and they fried his fucking brains? I don't know. I honestly just don't know. No, I'm not paranoid. Not at all. What's he going to do? Keep spilling his mouth? That's what he's going to have to do, because I'm going to do the same thing, same advice I've given Steve Holka. This is the last time I'm addressing this guy. And I'm saying this stuff just by the way this has went down, okay? And then I'm not bringing him up no more. I'm just going to keep my eyes on what's going on around me like I've always done. But what's he going to do? I'm not breaking no laws. Steve Holka's not breaking no laws. We're not telling anybody to break no laws. We're giving TFLers a spot to go where they can talk. We're giving them sound advice to try to be able to help them move on with their lives. Yeah, hopefully someday they'll meet somebody and they'll be happy and they'll have a family and they'll go on with their life. I wish that for everybody. That's exactly what I'm doing. So you're going to tell me, where's he going to go with this? But when I think about it, the powers to be don't like it when people speak out to begin with. Why do you think they call conspiracy theorist? To hide truth. Why do you think the topics I've talked about are labeled taboo? To hide. It's corruption. It's to hide. And what's this guy doing? He's been hiding the whole time. So I'm going to say it again. I give people like myself, Steve Holka, Robert Strickland, Peter Nolan, okay, Kevin over there, these people that come up here that use their real names, all kudos to you for being strong enough to use your real name and not have to hide behind a fraudulent name. Because you're not hiding from anybody online anyhow. If you think you are, you have fooled yourself. Because the people at the top, the law enforcement, the people in charge, if they want you, they know where you're at. Are you on your computer? Are you on your cell phone? Your smartphone? that's smarter than you, they know where you're at. So, well, nowadays you could lose your job from that. But I'll tell you what, if you're going to lose your job for telling truth, and you're going to worry about losing a job from telling the truth, evil wins and you lose. I hope you enjoy being a slave. If you want to get the Vaseline out and bend over and lube yourself for them, that's your prerogative. I'm not going to tell you which way to go with it, okay? That is quietly your prerogative to do so. Because when it comes to telling truth, the reason this country's in the shape it's in, or this planet's in the shape it's in, is from that very mentality right there. The slave system. The monetary system, the tool. See, because you're worried if you tell truth that I might lose my job if they know who I am, well, then you better hide your face. Don't you be seen on a video, because don't think you couldn't get back to your employer that you're on a video saying something, or that you're holding a live stream with your face in it. I mean, duh, it's right there in your face. You're going to worry about you losing your job? I lost my job. I had a big green light like so come through my window on the second floor of a building that was 2 miles outside of town and bounce off my walls. Then it came back through my window again. It was during the summertime and I was 2 miles outside of town. 3 sides of the building on here was cornfields. And then directly across the road was a college that was out for the season because it was summer vacation. 10:30 at night, and I got this big green light bouncing off my walls. My Skype signal was scrambled, and I was in a meeting. Just like television set when you pulled the cable off the back, when you had analog TVs, what did it do? You got that static, that psh. That's what Skype did. Just to find out that Skype's digital, and the only way that could happen is with a scrambler, an analog scrambler would have had to have been used, and the only people who have that technology or the device to do that is military. So you think about this. I'm in a conference. I have a green light come through my window, bouncing off my walls, disappears. Then it comes back, and I nudge my son on the shoulder and point at the wall. He turns his head. He sees it. He follows it around with his eyes. He looks at me and says, "What the hell is that?" Then my Skype signal goes, psh, was gone, okay? Then a week later, I lose my job, and they wouldn't tell me why I was losing my job. Nope. And then they gave me a phone number to call their management office, and the management office bragged me up. They told me how good of a worker I was. They told me how I was always there. I was very dependable, that my skills were really good. I was a maintenance tech. I was a technician. I did maintenance in a building in a motel. Okay? I'm the one that kept all the repairs done. So, it's like, okay, they wouldn't tell me why I lost my job. So I had to go back home and call the numbers just to find out, to get bragged up how good of a worker I was. Then told, but however, you do videos online. Then freaking a week, 2 after that, I got feds at my door. So don't tell me, I've been here, I've experienced this shit. And guess what? Where am I at? I'm still speaking out. It's like with my son on Facebook. When he said, "Who's Cassie Dill?" He didn't know who she was. Well, guess what happened? My son's Facebook account, a friend's request was sent from his account to Cassie Dill at 2:30 in the morning when we were both in bed. And I knew what happened there. The powers to be recognized the IP as my IP and now knows this is his son. So they deliberately sent a friend's request from my son's account to Cassidy Dill. This is how I knew, and it's like when the cops showed up that day with the 2 feds. I never seen this cop in my life. And he looks square in my face and says, Bill! And he says, Bill's a really nice guy. He says, well, these 2 guys would like to talk to you. I'll be on my way. And he left. And them 2 guys were feds. So I don't even want to go there with people. You say, well, if I put my face and my name online, I might lose my job. This country's in the shape it's in because nobody fights back. And you're not going to hide yourself from telling me you're fighting back. And if you want to accept what's going on, then I don't care. That's your prerogative. But I'm not willing to put the Vaseline, bend over and put the Vaseline there for them, okay? Just because you are. You're in a slave system that's furtherly taking more rights away from you. The more you go along, the more you lose. That's exactly what it'll be. One day you won't own nothing. Because let me tell you a little secret that you probably don't even realize. The people who own the monetary system and control it, this is from them. You're allowed to borrow some of their money in return for working. You will never own that money because it don't belong to you. It's their money. They own it. They have not given it to you. You're allowed to borrow some of that money in return for your labor. Technically, what they meant by that was everything you ever bought with that money belongs to them. You better understand that. Yes, I understand the Freemasons and pyramid system, but you better understand where this is going. One day, when you don't fight back because you've accepted it, you will have accepted the fact that your PC belongs to them, that your car belongs to them, that your house belongs to them, that your bed you sleep in belongs to them. You'll say, no, I worked and earned my money and bought it. No, you worked and was allowed to borrow some of their money. Borrow. You used their property to purchase your belongings. So therefore, your belongings belongs to them. Now, you think I'm nuts? I'm not the one that made this statement. This came right from a Rockefeller. So don't even go there with me. The people that own the monetary systems, this is their thinking. This is how they think. And they're not lying. They mean what they say. It's not that they are completely nuts. I agree with you. They're totally insane, but this is how they feel. This is what they think. You got to remember the plan for NWO was that will be not only a one world government, that they will own everything. I mean everything. You're a peasant. You're a worthless eater and feeder. You ain't allowed to own nothing. What part of that don't you get? But you will get it when it's all said and done. And I probably won't be here to have to experience it because I'll probably be gone. But I know a lot of you younger people, including my son, probably will be. So, what can I say? I'm not trying to scare the bejeebus out of you. I'm only telling you what they're saying and what they're doing. And so far, when I've watched a lot of stuff they've said over the years, or I've seen over the years, You know, I knew the Jobs was going out the door back in a few years back when the Jobs went out the door and we had the 10th city in California and Arnold Schwarzenegger was the governor of California. Do you remember that time? I remember that time. And I knew them Jobs was going out the door 2 years before they went out the door. And everybody said I was nuts. Then it happened. Then all the people who told me I'm nuts suddenly just got quiet. You pay attention to what's going on around you. I'm not saying by no means that staying insane amongst insanity is military. I'm just saying it's sort of looking that way. It is sort of looking that way, isn't it? For anybody that's really awake. Just by the stuff he's doing. It's sort of suggesting that. And you know, now I'm a conspiracy theorist and I'm completely off the deep end. And Steve Hoka, he just laughs at Steve and he's off the deep end too, that there's no helping me and Steve. But he's going to tell all the TFLers how they're going to get laid, or he's going to tell them they just got to do this self-improvement. He's going to send them right back to everything somebody's told them their whole freaking life while they're still alone and watch them continue to struggle and suffer. And he has a problem with TFLers and incels having a community to talk to one another. He hates the fact that they might be associating with one another and talking with one another and talking about how they feel. How dare you be your own individual human being? How dare you people talk to each other? You're not allowed to do that. You're supposed to suffer in silence. That's really what he's saying. Don't you do that. You suffer in silence right now. You're not allowed to have friends. How dare you TFLers communicate with each other? You better damn well suffer in silence. That's really the message Staying Insane just sent. That is the message he's telling everybody. He's going to say, no, I'm not. I'm going to tell them they need to improve themselves. I know, you're going to tell them everything that everybody else told them when they was 17 and 16 years old. You're going to tell them, and after they practiced it and tried it and practiced it and done no fault of their own, then you're going to tell them, well, you got to be successful. So now you're going to tell them they have to make this much money a year to buy a woman, huh? That they have to be successful. Complete hogwash. Now, Staying Insane didn't fuck me up. That's why I'm going to get out of here. And I won't be addressing him again. And if you actually believe that, you're probably asleep yourself. We'll just do this person a favor, okay? We will hide this person from this chat, and he will be gone. That's how I handle this stuff. See, he's gone. He's not here to run his mouth no more. See, I don't play the game with you people. If you think it's a game and it's all funny, I just remove you. Is that funny? Go ahead, go get yourself another channel. Get your sock account, okay? I can click that mouse faster than you can create it. And that is awesome. But I wanted to jump up here for a little bit and have this say so. And now I'm not going to address this guy ever again. But I think people need to keep their eyes on him. Because he's going to be feeding people a crock of crap. Because he already is feeding them a crock of crap, okay? And he's going to be sending them back down the rabbit hole. Because he has an issue with TFLers getting together and communicating. He has an issue with incel people getting together and communicating. He don't want people like this to have their own support group. He wouldn't want a support group in the community where people could go get together and maybe go out and shoot some pool or go bowling or catch a movie or get some drinks. No, he wouldn't want them to have that neither. He wants them to suffer in silence. Isn't that what he was really saying? Isn't that the real message? The state insane is giving? Yep, suffer in silence. Because if you get together, you're wallowing in your misery, according to him. But anyhow, with that, guys, I'm getting out of here, okay? I come up and did my last rant on him, and I'm going to just let you know now. I'm not going to bring him up again. I'm going to be ignoring him. And I'm going to do the very same thing I told Steve to do. Ignore, ignore, ignore. The only reason I come up here and did what I did today is just based on what I'm seeing. Okay? Because what I'm seeing suggests to me that there's a good chance this guy's military. Not that he is. But if he is military psychological unit, and he's up here doing, because he is literally the only person that's ever come on the YouTube and talked New World Order and TFL topics besides myself. There's nobody else that's done that. That's the reason it caught my attention. Because he is the only other one that's ever done what I done. And then suddenly he just turns completely around and goes the other way. Anyhow, with that, I'm going to get on out of here. Y'all have a good one, whatever, okay? I'm gone.